زمن الثورة الصناعية الرابعة. وقبل أن نبدأ أعمال المؤتمر، اسمحوا لي أن أتوجه بكلمة شكر لفريق العمل المصغر الذي شارك في الإعداد لهذا المؤتمر. أذكر هنا الزملاء دكتور فؤاد مارون، دكتور شفيق مقبل، وطبعا دكتور كارلا عيموني التي تحملت العبء الأكبر، وكل أعضاء اللجنة العلمية ورئيسها المهندس وسام الطويل. وأيضا أشكر الجهاز الإداري في النقابة زاهي، لانا وغيرهم الكثيرين من الذين عملوا وراء الكواليس لإنجاح عمل اللجنة. وطبعا الشكر الأكبر يبقى للنقيب جاد ثابت الداعم دائما للنشاطات العلمية في النقابة. في بداية أعمال اليوم الثاني للمؤتمر نرحب بمعالي الوزير نيكولاس صحناوي ضيفا عزيزا على المؤتمر. السيد صحناوي درس الاقتصاد في جامعة بانسيون أساس دي باريس، وحصل على درجة الماجستير في الإدارة العامة من إيكول سوبريور دي كوميرس دي باريس ESCP. السيد صحناوي يعمل على تطوير وتطبيق الاقتصاد الرقمي في لبنان، وهو حاليا عضو في البرلمان اللبناني عن دائرة بيروت الأولى. ما بعرف نقول لك معالي الوزير، سعادة النائب، الكلمة لك، تفضل.
Bonsoir. اليوم العرض تبعي رح يكون على اقتراح قانون قدمته بأول آذار بمجلس النواب. اقتراح قانون هو لإدخال البرمجة كمادة إلزامية بالمناهج الرسمية من السانكيام للترمينال كمرحلة أولى، وعم نفكر إنه مرحلة تانية نزيد على نص القانون إنه يكون من أول صف من الدوزيام للترمينال. هلا بيقولوا صاروا ايه، بس أنا مش عم بحفظهم بعدني على الوقت، أنا كنت بالمدرسة. شو الفكرة؟ أول شيء بالعالم صار في شبه إجماع عند الخبراء إنه في ثورة لها علاقة بالمعلوماتية يلي هي بتتجسد بالروبوتكس وبالارتيفيشال انتليجنس، رح تطيح بجزء كبير من الاقتصاد العالمي الحالي وبالفرص العمل. يعني بيقولوا إنه بال 2050 47% من المهن اللي موجودة حاليا ما حتكون موجودة بقى. أول فكرة أكيد كلكم سمعتوا عنها، مثلا الشوفير التاكسي، شوفير البوسطة، شوفير أي نوع من شوفير يلي هن كتار بالعالم. ما بقى في مهنة شوفير لأنه السيارات والبوسطات والآلات اللي بتتحرك كلها رح تكون عم بتسوق هي لوحدها عبر الارتيفيشال انتليجنس. بس هيدا بيمتد اكثر بكتير من الشوفير، لان الشوفير هيدي شغله كتير سمعنا عنها، سيلف درايفنج كارز عم بيتطوروا شوي 10 سنين 20 سنه رح يصيروا كلهم سيلف درايفنج كارز. بلشنا نحن نتعود على الفكره، بس هو الحقيقه انه الارتيفيشال انتليجنس رح تبلش تاخد مهن يلي هي سوفيستيكيتد اكثر من الشوفير. هو اصلا الشوفير سوفيستيكيتد، نحن ما بننتبه، بس الشوفير بده السنسرز والالجوريثم يلي بيشتغلوا براسه ليقدر ياخد قرار، يكوع، يخفف، يعجل، يسبق، ينتبه شو في على شماله على يمينه وراه. سوفيستيكيتد، بس نحن لانه بنعملها subconsciously بنعتبرها low skill job، بس هي it's not a low skill job. So eventually المهن اللي بدها تروح اكثر بكتير من الشوفير. عم نحكي سكرتير، محامي. في كتير دراسات بتقول انه المحامين عدد 90% من المحامين رح يصيروا artificial intelligence. كيف منجهز حالنا نحن نواجه هالديسربشن هيدي اللي جاي علينا. وهيدا مش هم لبناني، هيدا هم دولي. عم نحكي امريكا، اوروبا، كلهم عم بيشتغلوا على هذا الموضوع، انه شو هن مهن تبع الاقتصاد الغد المستقبل، وشو هن الكفاءات يلي لازم نعلمها، سكيلز لازم نعلمهم لشبابنا، للاجيال الصاعده، تيكونوا جاهزين على هالمهن تبع الغد. الجواب هو لحديث اليوم ما لقوا الا شغلتين: التكنولوجيا يلي هو موضوع هذا القانون اللي انا طارحه على مجلس النواب، ويلن الكرياتيفيتي. بعدها الآلة ما وصلت لدرجة الكرياتيفيتي تبعيتها مع الذكاء، يعني جملاج بين ذكاء وكرياتيفيتي بعده منه ظابط، وما مبين انه رح يزبط بسهولة. فبعدها الكرياتيفيتي هي ايدج عنده اياه الانسان على الآلة بالمدى المنظور، والكودينج بمعنى التكنولوجيا، لانه الجوبز يعني الريكوايرد رح يكون ذكاء مع تكنولوجيا بكل المهن، بكل المهن. اوريدي اليوم هذا ستاتستيك عن اليوم 90% من المهن بده بيسك ليفل اوف اي سي تي سكيلز، يعني اوف تكنولوجي. الدرافت لو اللي نحن قدمناه باول اذار مثل ما قلت ببلش بالجريد 7، هيدي تذكرناها جريد 7، ونحن عم نقول انه لازم يكون في فحص على التيرمينال، لان بده يكون ماده الزاميه ما فيها فحص، نحن بدنا اياها ماده الزاميه مع فحص. شو بنعلم بالتكنولوجيا؟ مش الفكره بس نعلم كودينج او بروجرامينج، الفكره نعلم نحضر الاولاد مع بيسك بروجرامينج، بس كمان مع انترودكشن لل شو معناتها بلوك تشين، كيف البلوك تشين رح يغير معظم السيكتورز، الايكونوميك سيكتورز، شو الارتفيشال انتليجنس، شو السيلف ليرنينج، شو 3 دي برينتينج، شو الروبوتكس. منه بس كودينج، هو كمان انترودكشن على نيو تكنولوجيز. ليش برأينا هيدا الحجر الأساس لنغير كل الاقتصاد اللبناني؟ لأنه برأينا اللبناني عنده ميزات بهالعالم، برهن انه عنده اياها، لانه بس يروح على الخارج بينجح، لانه بيحكي لغات، عدة لغات، لانه عنده ابداع وخلاق، لانه عنده حس التجارة، لانه عنده ريزيلينس. كل الحسنات اللي عنده اياها بطبعه اللي بتخليه ينجح وقتها بيترك لبنان، هيدي بالدي ان اي تبعه. فاذا عملناه تكنولوجي سافي او عملناه كودر، منه كودر مثل الهندي اللي هو كودر، لانه الهند فيها تطلع 100,000 كودر كل سنه، او مليون كودر كل سنه، او 20 مليون كودر كل سنه، لانه ما فينا ننافس مع الهند بالعدد. بس الكودر او البروجرامر الهندي ما حيكون مثل الكودر او البروجرامر اللبناني، لانه اللبناني عنده هدول كلهم وعم نزيد عليها الكودر، فهو بيكون عنده كفاءة التكنولوجيا وعنده البروجرامينج، بس اكسترا، يعني with value added. اللبناني بالنسبة للبروجرام، وهيك عم بيصير اليوم بسوق الشركات اللي عم تعمل باك اوفيس لشركات امريكانية واوروبية بلبنان، وعم بتوظف سوفتوير انجينيرز وارتفيشال انتليجنس انجينيرز، وقتها بتنافس مع شركة اوروبية او اكيد هندية، عم بيكون دايما بيفضلوا يشتغلوا مع لبنانية، لانه عندهم مش بس هيدا البيسك نولج بالتكنولوجي، بس عندهم كل الكوش التانيين، ذوق وكرياتيفيتي وسيلزمانشيب وكل هيدي الحسنات اللي عم نحكي عنها. مشان هيك حطيت Lebanese are programmers plus مساقبة، هذا اتس لانجويج كمان. الفائدة الكبيرة لاقتصادنا إذا قدرنا قلبناه، وحدة منهم هي إنه في إنتاجية أكبر بكل القطاعات. كلكم يعني أكيد كلكم شايفين سلايدات، بدي أزيد هيدي البرزنتيشن بعد ما خلصتها، بس بدي أزيد سلايد بفرجي شركة بالزراعة ما عم تستعمل روبوتس وما عم تستعمل algorithms و artificial intelligence compared مع شركة عم تستعمل يعني فوتت الاي تي بالبرودكتيف سايكل تبعها. قد ايه انتاجية هاي بالنسبة لهاي؟ بنشوف انه انتاجية الثانية يلي فوتت الاي تي على البرودكتيف سايكل تبعها 10 او 20 مرة اكثر من الاولى. نفس الشيء لصناعة، نفس الشيء لسيرفيس كومباني او لشركة بتشتغل بالسياحة او بشو ما كان. صار هيدا الكومبوننت عم بيزيد انتاجية الاقتصاد كله سوا. تاني شغلة وهي الأهم لنا كلنا، إنه هيدي اللي بتكسر الفيشس سيركل، الحلقة المفرغة يلي نحن بنعاني منها، يلي هو اقتصاد الريع، وإنه نحن بنصدر شبابنا، بنتعب عليهم، بنعلمهم وكل شيء، بنبعتهم يكونوا منتجين ببلد تاني، بيصيروا يبعتوا مصرياتهم على لبنان، بلبنان بتزيد الأسعار، بنصير نحن متنافسين أقل لأنه زادوا الأسعار عنا، وهذا فيش السيركل اللي هو الاقتصاد اللبناني الحالي. كلنا بنتعذب دائما لنفكر كيف بدنا نكسر هالفيش سيركل لنروح على فيرتشوال سيركل. بنيجي بنقول بدنا نعمل صناعة، بس نحن بنعرف لبنان مش قادر يكون بلد صناعي لأنه صغير. بنيجي بنقول بدنا نعمل زراعة، نفس الشيء. بآخر شيء بنروح على السيرفيس، بس السيرفيس الاكسبورت تبعهم مش هين. أحسن طريقة هو نصير تكنولوجي هاب، لأنه التكنولوجي هاب شبابنا بينتجوا من هون، بدل ما يروحوا يلاقوا شغل باوروبا باستراليا وبامريكا، بيلاقوا شغل بلبنان كباك اوفيس او بيصدروا المنتوج الدماغ تبعهم على العالم كله من هون. هيدا الفيرتشوال سيركل هي الديجيتال ايكونومي والنولج ايكونومي اللي بتخلينا نوصل له. وهذا اكيد حلم، بس ببلش بانتاج أجيال من اللبنانية هن التكنولوجيا صارت عندهم مثل اللغة ومثل الماتيماتيك بيعرفوها، وشغلة ضابطينها كليا. هون في عندي نحن عندي جمعية اسمها، مش انه انا مؤسس جمعية اسمها مؤسسة منى بيستوس على اسم الوالدة. مندرب على الكودينج بكل لبنان، صرنا عاملين 85 مدرسة باخر 4 سنين، مدارس رسمية. الموتو تبعنا هو انه كان بالزمانات نقول بدل ما تشتري له سمكة، علمه صيد السمك. يعني بالسمكة بياكل نهار، بصيد السمك بياكل كل حياته اذا تعلم صيد السمك. هلا صارت النيو بارادايم هو بدل ما تشتري له كمبيوتر، علمه الكودينج. هي نفسها يعني. الحلو بهالخبرية هاي أول شيء إنه كلفتها مش كتير كبيرة ومنا صعبة. بنطلع قانون، عنا تمويل من البنك الدولي ب$200 مليون اليوم بوزارة التربية، ناخد منهم 20-30 مليون. بنعمل بنجهز المدارس، أساتذة بيفهموا التكنولوجيا فيه كفاية. سنتين لقدام بنكون نحن بلشنا نربي أجيال على التكنولوجيا. البلدان بالعالم اللي سبقونا ما كتار، يعني في 15 بأوروبا وفي 15 برات أوروبا، عم نحكي عن 30 بلد من أصل 180 بلد. بعد سنتين بنكون بعدنا نحن بالدول الأول. هيدي فرصة بعد ما قطعت. نحن بنعرف إنه لبنان روح عدة فرص، وبس نشوفهم بنبكي، بنقول ما نحن كان هيدي شو بيقولوا القدر تبعنا محل ما نحن على خارطة وبالكي بي ايز تبعولنا، كنا هالفرصه نلقطها من 10 سنين او من 20 سنه. لقطتها دبي، لقطتها مدري مين، كله سبقنا وراحوا الفرص، ما بيرجعوا. فرصه بتمرق وبتروح. هيدي الفرصه بعد ما مرقت. ايه نحن هلا اذا طلعنا هالقانون بالست اشهر اللي جايين، وبعد سنتين بلشنا نعمل الامبلمنتيشن تبعه، وهذا الشيء كله منه صعب، كله هين، نحن بنكون بعدنا سابقين. مشان هيك انا بسميه ما بعرف شو بيقولوا بالعربي، مفصلي، لحظه مفصليه بالتاريخ الاقتصادي تبعنا. ولازم يكون هاي القضيه لازم تكون قضيه وطنيه، منا قضيه ولا حزبيه ولا فئويه. هيدي لازم تكون ناشونال كوز، يعني اذا زبطت كلنا سوا بنربح، واذا ما زبطت مثل العاده كلنا سوا بنخسر. فالموضوع لازم يكون كلنا عنا وعي عليه وعم نوعي عليه وعم ندفش لننجزه بأسرع وقت ممكن. ميرسي.
Good afternoon, and welcome you on the second day of our conference. We will keep questions for Mr. Sahnawi to the panel at the end. So we will start our session to see some emerging educational models in Lebanon and in the MENA region. So we will, our first speaker will be Mr. Hani Asfour. Mr. Asfour is the Dean of Dubai Institute of Design and Innovation, DIDI. He was recently named as one of the region's most influential 50 architects by Middle East Architect magazine. Asfour was the founding president of the Beirut Creative Cluster and founding partner of Polypod, an award-winning multidisciplinary collaborative design studio in Beirut. Polypod was recently awarded Best Community and Cultural Project at the 2017 MAA Awards for its Anwar Sabbah Musalla in Nabatieh, Lebanon. Mr. Asfour holds a Master of Architecture with distinction from Harvard University and a Bachelor of Science in Art and Design from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Asfour.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the OEA for hosting me and bringing me from Dubai to share our story. Thank you, Nicholas, for the introduction. This is a good tie-in into what you had presented. I'm going to talk about something we're calling Generation Pi. I think you'll understand in the end what we mean by that. And basically, it's how do we teach design for this new generation, the networked or multitasking generation, which I'm sure you're familiar with. I'm going to ask, why is design important today? What does hybrid education mean, and how does it help future-proof the students? And then, so what? So why do we do it, and what do we expect at a meta level of this process? So today, design matters even more. I think this is something that, okay, we are in with engineers and designers. However, it seems that wherever you go, people are talking design. Design is getting more attention. It's no longer in the backseat. And if you work with any consultant, what's on their mind is design thinking, something that designers have been doing for years, but now it has a name. It has a demand. And recently I was at the Dubai Economy Department, and none of them are designers, but they're using design thinking methods in order to identify and find solutions. And I was very happy to see that finally design's making a difference and affecting them. So we look at that as well. The question is, why is it happening now? This is something that makes me wonder. And especially the world is dominated by spreadsheets and numbers, and I challenge you to enter any conversation without using numbers. It's going to be a challenge. So numbers are everywhere. It's how we think, it's how we measure things. Even if you're reading something about sports, it's all numbers. It's not about the quality of the game, it's about how many times and how many times before that it happened, the record that was broken, and it's usually numbers. So without thinking, we're a number-centric society without thinking about it. Especially in school. I know from my school, and you probably remember, all of you from your school, that math had the highest coefficient. Okay, I went to MIT, but I was never a math whiz. I was more into the design and systems thinking than in actually number theory. And so it always affected my grades because I wasn't great in math, but you see, this was how it was measured. And I ask you, just look around, take a second, look around this room, look around where you are, look around the way you came here, and what do you notice? What do you observe? I think what we observe is that the only human thing, the only natural thing is us. If you look around us, everything around us and everything human is actually designed. Now, whether it's good design or bad design, that's a topic that we can discuss later, but everything that we are dealing with, everything that we encounter is designed. So, but people, when you tell them, I want to be a designer, they still don't know what you mean, even though it's everywhere. So it's one of those invisible things. Now, tying this back to the theme of the conference, which is the fourth industrial revolution, I just simplified it in this term, and I assume most people in this room are aware, but just a quick revision. The first industrial revolution, 1750s, was the invention of the steam engine, which actually led us to want commodities, the commodification of society. One can trace it back to that moment when commodities products became readily available, and design probably spent most of its time working in commodities. And when the electrical revolution came about, turn of the last century, we shift from a demand for commodities to shift towards favoring services. And in a way, if you want to think about it, think of Middle East Airlines. We would measure their value from how many planes they had to the quality of the service that they have. So this is a good way to understand this shift. Doesn't preclude the other, meaning that you still measure it based on the commodities, but you measure it on another layer now, which is the service layer. And in the third revolution, if you remember in the 90s, all the rage was about creating experiences, and the example is always Starbucks, and you're willing to spend more money at Starbucks than from Abu Ali al-Ahwaji, because you are getting an experience. You're getting a chance to meet with people. You can sit there and work. No one's bothering you. So there's value in the experience itself. And then the fourth industrial revolution, this is the question, what is it promising that we don't have yet, which is fundamentally a sense of fulfillment. Now, any millennials in the room, or people who know millennials, or our parents are millennials, know that we tell them, you guys feel so entitled to everything. And you know why? Because we've allowed them to. This is where technology is taking them. Because at the end of the day, fulfillment is actually technology is focusing on taking care of each individual's well-being. What is the Fitbit but a personalized tool that talks only about me? It's all about me. It's the me generation. All the tools are there, so the generation is expecting to get this sense of fulfillment from these tools. And this is where design comes in. So if we look at any enterprise, whether it's a service, a product, an experience, whatever you want to design, you need three pillars for it. You need to understand the marketing and the profitability, and that's why many people go to business school. This is what they learn. Then you have feasibility and engineering, which is the second half of this group in this room. And you have then the desirability. And this relates very much to the Vitruvian model. I won't go back in history towards that. But the sense of fulfillment is actually requires all three, and the missing link is design. This is why more and more companies are realizing, and more people are realizing, that we need design in order to differentiate ourselves. If we look at them a little bit closer, with the way profit and marketing and business people look at the world, they say it works if it makes money. And engineers, with all due respect to the engineers in the room, they make it work, which is fantastic. They make it feasible, so from viability to feasibility. And if you look at the process of work, it's usually quantitative. It's numbers. This is what drives the thinking behind them. This is how they measure things, whether it's KPIs or whether it's performance levels. And then the designers come, and designers in the room know what I mean. We care that the user, the person experiencing our design, says, it moved me, it touched me. And this is fundamental. It's a qualitative dimension that we add to the formula. This is the power of design. And what it does, this is where it's becoming more and more significant. That's why the Dubai Economy Department would use this, because design is actually changing the conversation. It's changing it so business people are saying, how can I make my users actually more productive? And how can I make them more efficient? So people are asking these questions. And the answer is design. That's why design's coming back. That's why design is becoming important, because it's changing the narrative. It's changing the formula and shifting from quantitative to qualitative. I'm not saying it's replacing. It's actually supplementing. It's adding that missing dimension to the story. So I give this example of these two cars, which are similar in specs, similar in price range, similar in many things. And most of the times, people will pick them not based on that. They're not going to open the hood and say, let me see. No, especially hoods and engines now have become totally opaque with the covers that they use. They're going to decide based on how it makes them feel. And with the phones, how it's going to make them look as well. So there's an emotional connection that we make with the products, devices, and the services that we do. And you don't pick your phone based on this because you lose the warranty. So in a way, the engineering has plateaued. It's reached a level where they're pretty equivalent, but design is actually becoming a bit more complex because form is no longer function. You know, in the modern period, the Bauhaus and the period after that, the functionalists from Sullivan onwards, form and function were tied together. But if you think about it, what you carry around with you is a black rectangle. It has nothing to do with the functions that it carries, and it carries as many functions as you choose to download on it. So it makes design a challenge, and because design is becoming more close to our body, it's becoming more intimate. So there's a lot of attention to detail. This is Joni Ive's Apple Watch, and in its finest details. So design is becoming intimate and it's no longer about purely the function. The function is relegated to the screen. In a nutshell, what I'm trying to say is that design is actually the bridge between strategic thinking and engineering. And it's between technology and business. So this is something that we cannot forget about. Design can no longer work on its own. And here's some proof for the numbers people in the room. If you invested $10,000 about 10, 15 years ago, the value would be on the S&P index about 17.5, but actually if you invest in a design-driven company, the value is going to be about 230% more. So it's clearly for numbers people, if you didn't believe what I was saying, the numbers actually speak for themselves. This is an important index. It's called the design index that's emergent as well. Because design actually humanizes technology. So all the technologies that we use, if they don't make sense to me, if they are not meaningful to me, if they don't touch me in any way, it's actually just a gimmick, a gadget. But it needs to have a human connection, and it makes innovation visible. We're very good at visualizing things and making things communicable to others. So if you innovate something, you need to be actually to make it visible. And actually, more importantly, is that design makes all innovation, all digital experiences desirable. People would want to experience them and want to do them. The other day, I was chased around by a robot. It wasn't a desirable experience. And if you think about all this excitement about drones delivering boxes to you, I don't think that's a desirable experience. Actually, it's a freaky experience if you think about it on a human level, being chased by a drone. It doesn't make sense. So someone has to design those things. So how do we approach it? How do we approach this? And it's something that we're doing in Dubai, which is what we're calling hybrid education, especially when blockchains and robots will be the norm. This is my assumption. This is how we built the curriculum. That's going to be normal. It's going to be every day. Even if we don't understand what they mean, they are coming. It's going to be the case. And we need to future-proof this generation. And this conference is about education in the fourth industrial revolution. I think the underlying question is, how do we protect the students? How do we make sure that when they graduate, they are relevant, that they have the skills that are needed? There are many statistics. This is from Dell. It's the most extreme. Dell believes that 85% of the jobs will not be existent. But these are some of the new jobs that will emerge. A lot of new jobs will emerge. So augmented reality designer, chief drone experience designer, exactly to solve the problem I just mentioned. embodied interactions designer, a chief design officer, and those of you who have been in a Kia or noticed Kia, you've seen how it's improved simply because Kia's promise of what they call the power to surprise is to actually put Peter Schreier, who was the head of design at Audi, in the boardroom. He's no longer in the back room, he's actually in the front end of the company. He's a decision maker, strategic design, a thinker who is actually changing the way Kia operates, and I think it's already palpable. You can feel the change at Kia just because of putting design at the forefront. And we want to avoid redundancy due to automation. We know that robots will take our jobs. That's not something that is hard to imagine. It's already happening. And this generation is completely multitasking. Third screen, second screen, none of them watch a show or TV without another screen in their hand. And basically, what we need to do is do combinatory education. Now, when we developed the curriculum, we had already put in the curriculum this hybridization, but was validating. I met with a group from Google who is very interested in our students. And they said, we won't hire anyone without hybrid skills. We're looking for people with hybrid skills that cut across different disciplines. So that was great validation of our strategy. And let's look at that. So design will become more and more hybrid as we go. And basically, it will continue to combine technical with creative. And architects know very well that in the same day you can study about statics, you can learn about ancient art in the same day. So designers and architects are well trained to be able to combine technical and creative skills. And the other thing is that technologies will continue to converge, and our duty to make sense of them is to make connections between trends. Let me explain that in simple terms. So if I throw at you all these trends in technology, and by the way, this is from a first-year course syllabus. This is what we teach them in the first-year design students, undergraduate. And we actually explore together what are the implications of all these things. But it doesn't make sense, so I throw these things at you. I say blockchain, we draw a blank. Automation, we draw a blank. Cryptocurrency, oh my goodness. Additive fabrication, it's just, this list is just scary. But how do we make connections? How do we make sense of it? We make sense of it through connections. So if I tell you additive fabrication and smart spaces, I think you can already imagine what is possible. And if I tell you artificial intelligence, embedded devices, that's an easy one suddenly, right? And if I tell you additive fabrication, artificial intelligence, that's very, very easy. Hannes showed us yesterday how that is done, right? With combining the two. It's apparent, it's easy to understand. You get my idea. Autonomous driving, augmented reality combined together makes a lot of sense. So by combining things, by breaking the silos, things start to make sense. And that's why it's necessary from day one to break these silos. And at DIDI, the Dubai Institute of Design and Innovation, the hybridization is already in our name. It's actually developed. We developed the curriculum with MIT, which is, MIT, and with Parsons, which is a design school in New York. And working with them is fantastic. And we developed this hybrid process because they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. We're starting from scratch. We could do it. And they were not able to do it. And they said, we wish you could do it. And when I proposed it to the board in Dubai, they were, yes, they ate it all up. They said, of course, this is what we need to do. So the first hybridization is combining design and innovation. We're not a design school. We're not an innovation school. We're actually both. We teach both from day one. And in order to simplify it, because sometimes reducing things helps us understand them, design for us is form making, which is what we learn in design school. This is quite something that we understand. And innovation is future making. And if our role is for our graduates to be actually transformers and disruptors, which is the pressure on them, we need three things. We need to teach them visual literacy. At the same time, we need to teach them digital fluency, which is Minister Sahnawi was talking about, which is the digital fluency. And we also add strategic proficiency. How to be entrepreneurs, how to be able to speak to business people, how can they be business people, and work. If you remember the triangle I showed you, the viability, feasibility, and desirability, it reappears in here in what we have to teach. We have to teach all three. And when we combine them together, we have something that we embed in every course that we call the 4 C's. The first one is the conceptualization, which is the problem solving. This is what we do in studio education. That's what it does to students. And the second thing is that we actually craft, which is fabrication and form making. And the third one is communication, which is the representation and visualization. And if you think about those who are in studio education, this is exactly what we do in the studio. Right? This is what studio education is about. Conceiving ideas, communicating them, and crafting them, which is model making, prototyping, all of that. And then the last one, which is very dear to us, very important, and usually I start with that one, is actually the caring, which is where design thinking comes, which is the empathy with humans, the empathy with the planet, empathy with the universe. So it's a combination of all these things, and we make sure that every course touches on all of these things if you want to ensure that thing. We offer product design, multimedia design, fashion design strategies simply for the reason this is where we felt there was a gap in the MENA region. So we're not here to compete with any design university. We're here to complete the picture. As design becomes more in demand, and which is interesting, our first batch of students, the majority want to study product design, which is surprising. It wasn't what we had expected, although the studies had shown that product design is on the rise in the region. Now you say, okay, Hani, you're talking about hybridization. How is this hybridization? You're building silos. It's good if you ask that question. We're not building silos because from year 2, students have to combine 2 of these disciplines together. No one can graduate without having a discipline in 2, a study in 2 of these courses. So from the 4 disciplines that we have, and I'm predicting that in about 4 years, those 4 disciplines at the IDI will disappear, and students will be charting their own pathway, generating their own curriculum based on 2 or more disciplines. So the blurring of the boundaries disappear. Now, if you think about it, again, this is where innovation is. If you want to graduate a student who's able to do app design today, there isn't anyone in Lebanon who is graduating app designers. You can teach them graphic design, which is fine. You can teach them web design, fine. But everyone has an app and 100 apps with them, but no one's graduating from Lebanon learning how to do an app. But if you combine product design, multimedia design, this is what happens. Wearables, product and fashion. Interactive clothing, multimedia and fashion. You get my drift. So the innovation is happening between these disciplines, and that's why we have to hybridize the education of the students to do it that way. So of the 4 C's, I'm just going to focus on one, which is design thinking, which is most relevant to our approach, which is basically the process, just to review it for those who are not familiar. It's basically a 6 to 7 process, depending who you ask. It starts with empathy, understanding who your audience is, actually digging deep into their personas, understanding them, researching them, field research. So sometimes people call this design research. It's actually going into the field and understanding them, and then identifying their pain points empathetically, and then being able to ideate, which is the brainstorming part. And once you ideate, you prototype, you test the ideas with different users. You go back into the field, and after you test, you iterate, because most likely it's going to fail, and you try again, and you keep trying, you keep trying. Hannes, in a way, showed us yesterday the trials and errors, and I later found out that the compressive columns that they did with gravel and string took 4 years to develop. It wasn't an easy thing. So failing is important. Now, why is this relevant to us? This is some of the work that we do at Polypod. This is from a client we worked with. To empathize, you have to actually identify who your people are, and it's a strategic tool. It's a scientific tool. It's combining science with design, and anthropology and sociology and psychology with design in order to understand who your users are, and you have to strategize in order to prioritize and figure them out. That's just a glimpse of some of the empathy work that you do. But in fact, what you're teaching is people, teaching them how to care, teaching them tolerance, teaching them acceptance of the other because they are empathizing. And there are some examples from Angela Luna Parsons with total empathy of refugees who she creates clothing for them that become shelters. We can discuss the good or the bad of this, but it's actually a way of actually entering the mind of the user. And it's actually, it teaches you critical and lateral thinking, the ideation, the identification. It teaches you how to take all this data that you developed in the empathetic stage and actually critically, analytically, and laterally make connections between them. And then if you want to ideate, which we all hear about, oh, we have to collaborate and all of that, but collaboration is an art. It requires that the entire teams actually has trust between them. If you don't have trust, there's no collaboration. And I ask in this room, who uses WhatsApp today? Yeah. And who's still using SMS? Who feels SMS is dated? And do you know why? Do you know why we prefer this? Can you guess what the key difference is? Graphics is one, but SMS can, but we don't know that, but it can. Collaboration. Basically what WhatsApp can do better than any other chatting app is that you can form groups. And the important thing about the forming groups is that you can form them whenever you want. You can join as many people as you want, and you can leave whenever you want. So it's voluntary. And this is the power of group forming. And if I apply it to the theories of networks, which is my area of research and interest, is that if I apply this to passive learning, if we go to the model where the teacher is sitting with a bunch of students, in the old way, it's completely passive. The network is called the Sarnoff network, and the value is actually equal to the number of nodes. The more students you have, the more value you're going to generate. And if you have 10 students, the value of that class is going to be 10. It's V equals N. And if you actually activate the class into peer-to-peer, we hear a lot about the power of peer-to-peer, and it basically, Metcalfe's law, it increases the value in a squared value, so immediately a network becomes 100-fold the value, which is great, and that's why peer-to-peer is important. However, peer-to-peer does not take into account group forming. And imagine that you allow groups to form, which is what WhatsApp does, and this is what engaged learning, this is what we practice in our school. We co-teach and we co-learn and we engage learning with the classroom, is basically, you can see the value jumps up to 1,000. So the value is 2 to the power n. This is Reed's law of network theory, but it actually proves in numbers for my quantitative listeners how group forming becomes important. That's the power of the sharing economy. It's this ability to form groups. So learning this skill is not easy, and the better you get at it, the more trust you can build, and the more collaboration and more scalability. So in the third phase of the design thinking, we're actually teaching people and students how to collaborate properly. And the fourth stage is actually prototyping. And a school without a prototyping lab is actually missing a great component. Whether it's digital or manual, it's still a form of prototyping. And what you're actually teaching your students is actually how to communicate complex ideas in simple terms. That's what it does. And if you actually take it to the next level, which is testing, you're basically allowing students to listen, receive feedback, and improve. This is the studio process, but think of it as an important skill that they develop. And if you teach them failure, what you're teaching them is actually to persevere and face challenges and not stop and keep going. So in a way, design thinking is very much teaching them tolerance, critical thinking, teamwork, communication, listening, failing, which in the end you're teaching them life skills. This is what you're doing when you're teaching design thinking. And this is just one aspect of the things that we do. And so we move from what used to be called the T-shaped person, which is a strategy that was developed by Peter David Guest and then by IDEO. They say we hire people who are deep in a skill and they actually have soft skills so they can collaborate and empathize with other speakers, with other industries. I'm saying we need to take it up to the next level, which is the pie-shaped person, which are people with hybrid education who are deep in 2 skills or more, and they're actually able to reach out across boundaries, and I think more naturally so, because from their depth, they actually have this ability to cross-pollinate. And Hannes, yesterday, again, I keep referring to you, but you had described that if you go deep, you lose the top. I think if you go twice deep, at least you can look across and see another discipline, and hopefully that will make you reach across boundaries. So it's a fine balance between them. And that's where we got the name for pie-shaped people. And weaving together these design and life skills, I think... It's almost the logo of the... Okay. Well, it was intentional, yeah. No, okay, thank you. So we feel Generation Pi will be able to weave together these design and life skills together because they need to solve the wicked problems we left behind for them. And we feel that like superheroes, with 2 legs in the ground and not just one, they'll be able to actually better adapt to find future jobs. And I think even more, they will create new ones, new jobs. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Asfour. Normally, our second speaker is Professor Alain Shehadeh, Dean of Faculty of Engineering at AUB. But unfortunately, Professor Shehadeh couldn't be with us today. So we will be pleased to listen now to Mrs. Rana Shmaitoli. Rana Shmaitoli is a leading Lebanese entrepreneur in the realm of STEM education. Rana, who holds both a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering and master's degree in engineering management, is now 10 years into her second own business, The Little Engineer. In 2013, The Little Engineer signed a strategic partnership with Airbus Foundation to deliver regional and global space and aviation workshops for youth. In 2015, she joined Vital Voices Network to benefit from several programs like Global Ambassador in 2017 and Tech Woman in 2017. Mrs. Shmaitoli will talk about STEM for all to prepare a generation ready for the 4th industrial revolution. Mrs. Shmaitoli, the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to thank the committee for hosting such an inspiring event. Really, we need this all often. Thank you, Hamid. Naib. Yeah, thank you, Naib. And today I will stay speaking in English because of our guests here. I would like to tell you that I started this initiative. It was not meant to be a business, nothing at all. I had a pain to save my child who was highly addicted to passive electronic games. And it happened that I succeeded. I won the MIT Business Plan competition. I had a big vision to see how I can take this initiative from a small club, maybe to centers in Lebanon, maybe to centers around the world, and maybe in private and public school. So all was documented back in 2009. And I started to work. Winning will not let you go back at all. So I had to keep on, persevere, and do many things. In 2015, I felt that having only centers for people who can afford to pay for the STEM education was really shy. So I wanted this STEM education, robotics, renewable energy to be for everyone. So I was thinking, how can I do it? How can I do it? I need the funds. Definitely I need the funds. But I gathered bunches of engineers, like 6, an educator, and myself, and we sat all together and said how we can make it for everyone. So we gathered the Lebanese program, the IB, the British, the American, and we started to make a big grid to see how we can develop curriculum for all learners. And it started with a passion, and the passion is still here. And today, we are really featuring STEM education. So it's not only coding, it's robotics, renewable energy, Internet of Things, everything. So on this, we won many prizes and many awards, one of which is Cartier. And today, I'm a business coach in Cartier. So this is a pride for Lebanese to be coaching, international competition. And definitely, I care about the workforce. Why? Because every day I receive like 20 calls. Hi, Mrs. Rana, can we have a job? We are jobless. So this is on daily basis, we have this. And we are looking forward how we can create a new generation where they can be, skilled and ready to compete locally, regionally, and globally. So we want them to start from school, to the house, to the city, to the country, to the globe. And we are really keen of generating youth skilled with vision. So they should know what they want to be at the university, and they should be knowledgeable about the education that they have to follow, so they don't have to ask me or ask mom or dad, what can I do? So they have to have the passion ahead of time to understand, really, I can be engineer, I can be maybe a doctor, lawyer, maybe a vocational school candidate, which is now missing in our country because we have money, but we don't have the qualified one. So this is a big problem in our country. So they should understand their interest, and definitely we're looking forward to hybrid. Where is the hybrid? Mr. Hani, Dr. Hani, yes. We're looking for people who have the hybrid, characteristics. So we want them to be very confident, looking for perseverance, innovation, time management, and all of this. And Mr. Hani has four C's, we have 6. So in our curriculum, we managed to integrate 7-6. So always we have to connect learners to what problem they want to solve. And then we ask them to construct the problem and to start building, ideas, scratching, contemplate their work, and then they have to complicate the job for them so they can be really the creative in continuing and competing with peers on the national level or international level. So definitely now we are providing class solution from learner of grade 2 to grade 12. And luckily also university students. So we are starting a further step, and I can show you what we are proposing for university to enhance education and the skills of learners. So we have, as I mentioned, curriculum ready from grade 1 to grade 12, and we started selling our program not only in Lebanon. We are collaborating now with Oman, with Mauritius Island, Nigeria, and in November I sold one of my program to New Jersey. So this is I'm very proud of this step, that we as Lebanese were able to penetrate USA with our brain, our content, and by customizing the story to New Jersey, so we were able to sell it. And definitely we are focusing on the quality of education. So our class solution consists of 26 to 28 sessions, 45 to 55 minutes each. And then they have to cover all the academic year, closing with a competition at school level and then at national level. And one of our famous programs that we are really keen of is Save Lebanon. Save Lebanon were customized based on the pain that we have had here in Lebanon regarding the shortage of electricity, water. So it's a hybrid course also, blending robotics, renewable energy, and sustainable development goals. So students have to go through this, and we suggested this to be for learners of grade 7. Why grade 7? Because they are the most receptive students that can be, vaccinated with this hybrid program. So we sold it now to some public schools and vocational schools in Lebanon, and this same program was sold to Nigeria under the name of Sustainable Nigeria. It was customized to fit the pain of Nigeria. And it was sold to New Jersey under the name of Sustainable New Jersey, covering, the renewable resources that New Jersey is focusing on to produce electricity and to make the country more sustainable. So this is what we have done. For a learner of grade 10, we have very complicated, and I'm very keen to say that back into last year, we partnered with the Monabustros Foundation, and we brought this robot and made this robot dance dabki in 5 public schools in collaboration with His Excellency Nicolas. He was first, to say, Rana, let's do this, let's motivate the student. And we were highly impressed by the performance of students who were taught only to articulate some motors, and then we left them behind to go and excel in making this robot dance the dabki. So our focus is, our main strength is that we do deliver a very, very comprehensive training for the teachers who are the most challenging part of the game. So they are resistant to change, they don't want to learn, they fear technology, they fear IT, but we manage. So through our experience, we understood what is the pain and how we can overcome the challenge. So we built a very comprehensive training for the teachers, and we are the supplier of the goods. So we don't move boxes. So we are producing our boxes to serve the country. We have a strategic partnership with a company in China that developed our tool to make this product sustainable in the market and not a product to disappear instantly, and we cannot sustain our services in the market. So we have here also local competition to motivate students about solar energy, wind energy, dancing robot. And we are part of an international competition that takes place in China on a yearly basis. So I'm hoping this year to take like 5 teams. And definitely the challenge is how to bring money and to take those students to represent Lebanon and China. But I guess we can do that. So with the support of people who understand exactly what we're doing, we can have the funds. So let's say for Save Lebanon, I managed to take from Bank Audi endorsement for the program. So now the program could be integrated in any school for an interest rate of 4%. So Bank Audi is lending the school the money to start instantly. So they don't fear the money of how to start and the money to invest. So I guess here we can find the same investor in here. And about the strategic partnership of Airbus. Let me tell you how it happened. When I won Cartier, they called me, they said, Rana, we want people who serve us in space and aviation Israel. Can you help us? I said, yes, surely I can do that. So I traveled first with my own kids. So nothing was special for them. And it was really very impressive. It was back in 2012 when they saw the robots in UAE. It was still new. So we started with that, and then I proposed for them, why don't I customize the program for you to be fitting the culture of Airbus? So they took me to Toulouse. I went through the factory to see it, to understand, and I replicated a story for Airbus, customized for them, to tell the students about the aviation industry. After 2 years, the space industry contacted me, said, Rana, we want similar program for the space. Can you do that? So we developed another program, and today we have more than maybe 13,000 students exposed to our program on the global level, starting from UK, Spain, France, and we reach Mauritius Island, we reach Singapore. So it's really an amazing story. But in 2015, they said, why do we have to give the money to Rana in the Middle East? Let's find people from Europe. It's better to invest in people from our community, being Airbus. I said, okay, let's compete. So we went to Munich, and we did a huge competition, and back again, I was able to pull the contract to Lebanon. So we as Lebanese being creative, as who said that we are creative, we persevere, we are resilient. So that's true. And now we have presence in 30 countries. Okay, so you can see them, and proudly we are in USA, UK. So we are all around 30 countries, and it's not easy to manage 30 countries. So we are a company, private company, and that endured, all the challenges in Lebanon to prove that yes, we can develop and we can sustain our brain and our momentum locally, regionally, and globally. I would like to share with you now, so this is the school network that we're working with. So we are in more than 45 schools. We have strategic partnerships with NGO, and we are strengthening our network. I would like to share with you, not my voice now, so let's see how we started and how we pretended in 2015 that we want to have a school solution.
Do you want to prepare the youth for the future? The fourth industrial revolution is here, and it's time to bridge the gap between theory and practice, and between school and university. The Little Engineer helps you achieve all this and more. An award-winning STEM education institution, we are here to serve local, regional, and international schools. We make technology, innovation, and engineering fun and accessible to kids in grade 2 to grade 12. We provide you with continuous support, including a comprehensive class solution with tools, a solid curriculum, and teacher training. We also offer exciting school visits to our center, Rimco showroom, and at your school. The Little Engineer can even set up and fully manage a club at your school to bring STEM education to life. We are expanding so fast to reach all public and private schools. STEM for all. We are ready to help you empower your students for tomorrow's world.
So this was back in 2015. So the idea was here, and today I can tell you what we have done. So this is the real work now. So proudly we're Lebanese, huh? And one more thing, I'm still regretting and I'm still feeling the pain of vocational schools. I have one son, the same son, who pushed me to do this now. He is not very academic. He is brilliant in manufacturing and you know this, but I cannot find the right vocational school for him. So I don't want to dilute him in a society where doesn't look like me because it's not existing. So now I'm willing to send him to this summer. I will go with him to a factory will be having internship, and through his work, I applied for him to Autodesk, and he was accepted for internship. So maybe I can, but maybe it will be a brain drain. And this is not what, so I would like to ask His Excellency that if we can think about, creating an outstanding vocational school for people who are really gifted. So we're preparing talents, but if they don't find their ecosystem, they will fly and we'll lose them. So it's not our choice. So this is our ecosystem is not ready. So I would look forward to do this. And because of that, I brought to Lebanon this assembly line, which is now at Rimco showroom. We bring along students to come see how cars are assembled and manufactured. And I'm starting to sell this to universities for students to know how to program, how to code, really how to code, and to make it, from pieces into a functional assembly line. So I guess this is a very nice, initiative to be integrated in universities. Till today, they are still working on toys, and this is not acceptable. I wish the deans of engineering who were present yesterday listened to me today. And this is how we can shape tomorrow and prepare students to really be the good coder in tomorrow. And now I would like to let you hear the voice of the students. So this was a CubeSat. So we were teaching them about how to form a CubeSat.
اليوم استفدت هي من ناحية انه عم يعلمونا اشياء جديدة. انا صراحة ما كنت بعرف شيء عن السبيس، صرت عم بتعلم كثير اشياء، ولبعدين صرت بعرف انه شو بدي يمكن شوي اعمل انه استرونومي وهيك وفيزيست. كثير حلوة القصة، وكجريد 10 عم بتعلم اشياء جديدة واكبر من عمري اكيد، بس I will fulfill it.
هيدي قصة My Little Engineering. بتعلم الكثير اللي بعمرنا عن اشياء كثير انترستينج، ومنها هيدي اللي هلا اخذناها هي الكيوب سات.
Today I had the chance to learn a bit about coding and coding language that I didn't know about before. Well, I heard about it, but I never really had the chance to practice.
اليوم جيت على الورك شوب عشان استفيد شوي من المعلومات عن السبيس، وكان السبيس كان اليوم الموضوع الاساسي. تعلمت اشياء جديده مثل الكيوب والبرمجه، الكودينج كثير ساعدنا، يعني صار عندي فكره اوليه عن الموضوع، وبشكل عام عجبني الكورس وعرفوا كيف يفهموا وكانوا كثير منيح معنا.
تعلمت شيء كثير من هيدا الورك شوب مع ليتل انجينيرينج، انه فينا نحن نطلع بشيء يمكن نلاقيه سخيف، بس اذا فعلا انه طلعنا فيه شو ممكن نعمل فيه، ممكن نقدر نعمل اشياء كثير فيه.
I've enjoyed it a lot. It was a great experience here in the workspace. I've learned loads of things about space, about coding. It was so helpful for me. Thank you so much for everything. I hope all of you try it, guys, because it's really great.
اليوم تعلمت كثير اشياء جديدة، كثير ضوينا على موضوع ما كان اصلا نضوي عليه قبل، وحبيت الموضوع لانه فكرة جديدة وحبيت انه نتفاعل معه.
كانت تجربة حلوة كثير، تعلمنا اشياء جديدة كثير عن الفضاء وشو ممكن التقنيات اللي عم نعملها بلبنان وشو اللي ممكن نتطور فيها لقدام. فكانت تجربة كثير حلوة واستفدنا منها كثير. شكرا.
So this is the voice of the teachers and the students, and now this is the voice of the teachers who are being trained, and the most challenging part of the game. هدول هني. So هول they are invited free of charge من ال public and private sector to come along and experience innovation
بشكل
and
عام
how we have to shape.
تعرفنا على الأمور لوين رايحة بمجال التعليم برا وبلبنان. يعني شئنا أم أبينا التكنولوجي هي صارت جزء من حياتنا الأساسي، وما فينا نخفي إنه هي فايتة على المدارس بشكل كتير كبير.
مهم الأستاذ يحضر هذا الورك شوب. اليوم مش حلوة إنه التلميذ بيكون بيعرف شيء أكثر منك، اليوم أنت قدوة للتلميذ.
أنا حضرت اليوم ورك شوب بالليتل انجينير. It was very beneficial. أنا already بعرف الستام وعم بعرف تلاميذي عليه، بس اليوم تعلمت إنه how is it going to be integrated more in the curriculum. قد إيه بيفيد هالشيء لتعليم التلاميذ ولمستقبل كمان بلبنان.
أول شيء استحقت الفرصة بيجي مرة تانية، استفدت من ناحية الستام، بدنا نحاول ندخل الستام وما عارفين كيف.
كثير بنتمنى انه يفوت هالسيستم على مدارسنا، سيستم كثير حلو بينمي التلاميذ، بينمي المهارات والثقافه تاعول التلاميذ. اكيد بنتمنى نحن، وحتى بنتمنى يصير ورك شوب لكل الاساتذه اللي عندنا، وشغله كثير حلوه ومتطوره.
كثير حبيت و it was very innovative لانه new ideas وكثير نحن بحاجه لهيدا الشيء بلبنان.
نحن بنعتبر انه هذا جهد جبار، جهد كثير كبير لوضع تلاميذنا بثقافه العصر وبجو التكنولوجيا الحديثه، ونحن هذا كثير له تاثير على مستقبل التربيه.
مثل ما شفت بهالورشه تعتمد المنطق العملي للتربيه والتعليم وميزانيه العمل. انا بتمنى ماده التكنولوجيا أن تعتمد رسمياً.
Okay. So this is, I have one call. We all ask, the United Nations is asking about the SDG 17, partnering for a goal. Today we can partner. Many of you have listened, and we are ready to shape tomorrow and raise talents with the presence of Naib, His Excellency, maybe the Deans of Engineering. We can join forces to make better generation. And thank you, everyone.
So I would like to invite Mr. Sahnawi and Mr. Asfour to the panel. First of all, I would like to thank you for the fascinating presentations, and we will have a couple of questions. I will start with you, Mr. Asfour. Design thinking, your presentation was extremely interesting about design thinking and the pie topology that future engineers and architects need to have as skills. First of all, where do your students come from? Since you are in Dubai, where do they come from? From which region? And I suppose that they are with traditional profile, studying at traditional schools. So, what do you recommend in changing in the high school curriculum to be better prepared for your design thinking education? And how do you suppose the collaboration with programs like Little Engineer for that?
I think His Excellency Minister Sahnawi answered that, and also Rena's work, which is amazing. This is what we need to do to include in the youth. We're facing the same thing in Dubai. We run a project called Project Design Space, where we bring in real-world problems from real-world companies like Adidas, IBM, some government agencies in Dubai, and they come to us with a problem that they're trying to solve, an actual problem. Then we take our faculty and we train the schools in Dubai and how to train them, very much what Rana is doing, but not so extensively. So we train them, and in the first year we had about 50 students. This year we had 4,500 high school students participating in the program. We just had the finals on Saturday, just before I came. It's really fascinating, this desire for innovation. And in Dubai, as you know, I mean, the reason it's happening there is that because it's a top-down, and the answers and the request for innovation is coming from the highest level. So everybody wants to be in that game. And so they come to us, say, how can we be innovative? How can we apply design thinking? And it's not just shallow. They're actually applying it. As I mentioned at the Dubai Economy Department, I met with them last week. They are using design thinking for their analysis, and their reports that they're generating are much more interesting than the big five, because they're doing it in-house and they're applying design thinking. So where do our students come from? We have 5 Lebanese. Okay. The remainder is 15 Emirati, and then the rest are from India, Pakistan, South Africa, Australia, Poland, and the GCC. Most of them grew up in Dubai, though. So this is who is coming to our school at the moment. It's a college, so starting from 17 onwards. Yeah, it's a university, yeah.
Thank you. This brings me to Mrs. Rana. You showed us what you've done and several videos about programs presented to the youth. What can you say about opportunities, contributions, interactions of students and teachers regarding programs introducing IoT, renewable energy, robots in Lebanon and worldwide?
Let me start by worldwide, because we managed to run sustainable programs. So I go, I train the trainer, and I exit. I monitor, and the programs are running perfectly. And we have all the time testimonials from the teachers. Horana, it's fantastic. And we're scaling up, we need more, and that's it. In Lebanon, it's very impressive. So we had imprints in Bekaa, in south of Lebanon, in Beirut, even public, private, NGOs, and we have the same echo. It's the most inspiring session in the week. So this is really a pride for us to see that we are motivating learners to come and adopt the technology and like it, and this is what we're hearing.
Okay. In your biography, I saw that you implemented some design thinking in Musalla in Nabati. Can you tell us more about that? How can we see applications of your studies in an application in
the Musalla is actually a little mosque in the south, and in a way, the main question was, how do you go back to roots? It's a challenge to design a mosque in a non-traditional way. So we had to go back to understand who the users were and how do they go through it. And we went back to the roots to generate an experience where the individual goes in. You have to see it. It's a small building, but it's worth a trip to Nabati, I think. And you actually you go in, and at this moment where you actually have to leave behind the real world to enter the divine world, if you want. And there's a whole sequence of architectural spaces that in a way cleanse you from the real world before you go into the mosque and to gather with a group to pray. So it starts with empathy. That's all. You have to understand who the user is, and you have to understand what their goals are, and you have to you have to live with it. In architecture, the use of design thinking is a natural thing. We don't think of it in that way. But it's interesting to see the business world latching onto it and making us think about it. And in the end, what I was trying to say is that if you teach someone design thinking, you're teaching them life skills, how to become ready for the future by learning how to collaborate, how to empathize, how to develop creative thinking, lateral thinking.
for you, Your Excellency, you told us about project of law, and you said a little words about financing, because we know that courses in technology required hardware to follow out, to come with. So can you tell us something more about potential supports for implementing such hardware courses in schools in Lebanon, in the public and in the private schools?
I don't think the financing is a real issue. The will to do it and the determination to do it and the awareness that it is unavoidable, that this is something that should be done today, makes the financing a technical issue. Add to that the financing is there, that we have credit lines. I think it's 200 million currently waiting at the Ministry of Education. So you can put them on building new schools or on rehabilitating old schools, or you can put them in the building the capability and the curriculum and the training of the kids, which is what I think. And I don't think there will be any resistance, because in fact you don't need the 200 millions. Hardware is becoming a commodity. It's much easier to get hardware at a cheap price than before. The Raspberry Pi, to come back to the Pi, the Raspberry Pi is $35. And it's a computer, it's a full-fledged computer. The Orange Pi, the Chinese equivalent, which is, by the way, better and cheaper, so it's $15. And it's 5G enabled. So it's not a question about money. It's a question is our system capable of taking decisions and implementing them fast, which is proved that it's not the case. Our system proved that it's incapable of taking decisions, and if it does take decisions, it's 20 years or 30 years too late. The previous law on technology was voted for five months ago in Parliament. It has been sitting in Parliament for 15 years. 15 years. It's a generation. In technology, you need to be 1 year, 2 years. This is the lapse. So it's a real test. And as I said, this is an opportunity that is not yet already gone. It's still there. And we either grab it or it will go. But just to link on what Hani said, and it's admirable what they are doing in Dubai and he is doing, because of course design thinking and creativity is the way ahead. And I said in my presentation there are two things that can prepare you for the future: creativity and technology. And I will only talk about technology. I didn't know that he was going to talk about creativity. So it's a perfect match.
This brings me to the last questions for you, Your Excellency, and for Mrs. Shmaitali. Based on what's happening in Lebanon, what are your recommendations for the collaboration between private and public sectors to enhance technology implementation in the fourth industrial revolution?
I think the private sector doesn't wait for the public sector. They move fast. They move fast because they are driven by profitability, and they can take their own decisions, which is good. We have survived that far because of the private sector. But the private sector cannot set the tone for the whole economy or for the whole system. There's so much they can do, and they don't take a collective decision. Every school takes its own decision at its own pace. So the idea is for the state to play its role and set the tone, set the priority, a national priority. And the steps I put are easy steps. They don't need for all the decision makers in Lebanon to congregate and take a decision. We just need to pass a law, and nobody seems to be against it. And the Minister of Education needs to take part of the money, small part, and have an implementation system done for 2 years. So it's quite easy, but it's really transformative. It will really pivot the current educational system.
Let me tell you, as a private sector, what we have done. So we played it differently. We got the approval from the Ministry of Education to implement some courses in public school. We brought donation and fund from outside to prove for the Ministry of Education that yes, we can do it and it's doable. And we're presenting our key performance indicator on what we're doing. We targeted the private sector and they are responding easily and gladly. It's an exponential growth in the private sector because every school who took one, let's say, one curriculum for one grade this year will be taking two, the up and down, and it's exponential growth. And the most wise thing I have done, I partnered with ministries outside Lebanon, with Nigeria, with Mauritius, and now very soon with Oman, to tell, yes, Lebanese are selling their brain outside, so we want to sell it to Lebanon. So I guess there is no way they can resist. We're proving the concept and we're running easily. So there is no way they can say we don't want, unless they really don't want.
I remembered what I wanted to say. So so this is an easy step. Integrate technology and programming as a mandatory course in the school curriculum. Easy, identifiable. The hardest part, which is, I think, beyond our capability as a decision-making system in the current political system, would be to change the way we educate. And I'm touching again on Hani's and Rana's presentations, because the way we educate is really prehistorical. There was a song that said that it's Charlemagne who created the current system. I don't know if it's true, but imagine, I mean, we're talking about Charlemagne. Yeah. So, Napoleon أحسن شوي بس بعدنا بعاد يعني. So the way we give books to kids to learn by heart their courses week after week, sessions after sessions, and the way the kids are changing because their attention span is smaller, but their brain works in a fiery way. So it's neither adapted to the millenniums, neither to the technology available, where the engine and the software can follow the attention of the kids and their personal skills. Some people are more emotional, more technical, more whatever. So we are capable today to have educational methods that are much more performant, much more adapted to the new generations. And this is only done in experimental schools around the world. And so also we are not late, but I can't imagine that it will be the first. So we have to wait until some countries do it, and we have to throw almost all of the old educational system and go to a new one, where gamification is one of the tools used, specifically in younger classes. And I think we would agree that this is the way ahead, but I don't know how we can do it as a country today, specifically that no one did it yet.
Can I add one thing? And I heard that the World Bank, okay.
Okay, so we will take questions from the floor, please.
شكرا. بالأول بدي أشكر معالي الوزير، بدي أشكر هاني، بدي أشكر رنا على وجودهم هون. صحيح نحن مش كتير كتار اليوم، بس في ناس عم بيتابعونا على يوتيوب. آخر مرة كانوا وصلوا ل2000 شخص عم بيتابعونا، يعني في ناس عم بتتابع الجلسات. أنا بدي بس خبر شغلتين صغار بنفس الإطار اللي انحكى. موضوع الديزاين ثينكينج. أنا لما بلشت أعلم لما فت على الجامعة بلشت أعلم. أول ما بلشت أعلم الأركيتكتشر بالسبعينات، بلشت فتنا أول صف، وكان في صعوبة كتير يفهموا علي التلاميذ شو بدنا نعمل، لأنه كل السيستم تبع التعليم عنا برا. بعدين بعد جمعة جمعتين ثلاثة قالوا لي فهمنا أستاذ، رجعنا على الكندر جاردن، لأنه فعلا ديزاين ثينكينج اليوم هو بالكندر جاردن، وبعد ما تقطع الكندر جاردن خلاص بيصير كتب ودراسة وكذا وإلى آخره وإتسترا. فهذه أول قصة بدي أخبرها. we have to come back to the spirit of the kindergarten، يعني وندخل هالسبيريت بالإدوكيشن تبعنا، يعني هذا أكيد تنقدر نفوت بالفورس اندستريال ريفوليوشن ايرا. القصة الثانية وهون بنرجع للي حكي معالي الوزير. أنا كنت عايش برات لبنان وخلال فترة الحرب، يعني فترة طويلة، ورجعت بأوائل التسعينات، صرت روح وإجي وجيت على لبنان ونقزت، لأنه اكتشفت بأوائل التسعينات إنه في لبنانية بلشوا يشتغلوا على الكمبيوتر اركيتكتشر. كان ما في بعد لا ويندوز ولا شيء، كانوا على الدوس ويشتغلوا على الدوس، وشاطرين وفظيعين، وكل المهندسين كل الاركيتكتس بيشتغلوا على الكمبيوتر. وبباريس ما كان في حدا يشتغل على الكمبيوتر، يعني كان يمكن في مكتب واحد أو بكل فرنسا بيشتغل على الكمبيوتر أو مكتبين. يعني بقى كنت كتير أنا متعجب قديش في قدرة عند اللبنانية إنه يقدروا هيدا، ولكن مع الأسف هذا ما تطور، هذا ما تطور أبداً، ونحط كل الجهد بالأعمار على قصة العقارات والبناء ومش عارف شو وإلى آخره، وراحت الفرصة، راحت الفرصة بشكل كامل. مع أنه كان عندنا قدرة نحن بلبنان لو تطور هالقطاع هيدا قطاع الانفورماتيك إنه نكون على رأس، يعني فعلا نكون على، ومعلش يعني خلينا نقول بصراحة مش أحسن منا الإسرائيلية. إسرائيلية بهديك الوقت بلشوا يطوروا هالموضوع وصاروا هلأ على رأس شو اسمه، مش أحسن منا أكيد، أكيد نحن عنا كان كل القدرات، ولكن مرقنا ضيعنا الفرصة. اشتغلنا على أفكار قديمة، عقارات وبنا ومش عارف شو كذا، بالوقت اللي مش هيدا هو الاتجاه. واليوم في فرصة جديدة وما لازم نضيعها هالفرصة. عنا فرصة جديدة. مع الأسف بعد بمجلس النواب عم بيحكوا عن قصة بدهم يزيدوا عبوها على البنايات ويعملوا طابق مر جديد تيطلعوا مصاري وما بعرف شو. مش هيدا منه مستقبل، هيدا قديم وما بيفيد لشيء. لازم نشتغل بهالاشياء اللي نحن عنا قدرة كلبنانية انه نقدر نسير بطليعة العالم العربي ونقدر نشتغل على العالم. واللي عم بيقولوا معالي الوزير اساسي، اساسي جدا، ما لازم نضيع هالفرصة. شكرا.
A question to Hani. I was intrigued about where you have located, where the locus of design in your model. It was mostly present in the desirability dimension, rather than in the heart and the intersection of the three dimensions of desirability, feasibility, and even financial viability. The reason why I'm asking, because in my mind, design is an integrative process. Actually, as we get trained in architecture since the past, we get to think in an interdisciplinary manner rather than multidisciplinary manner. Obviously, the domain of the discipline is changing, is moving. Obviously, technology has a very important dimension to play. And our mindset towards the problems. Nowadays, we do not think, as you mentioned, in silos. Actually, we need to think in a very integrative way. And the thinking process, the nonlinear thinking, and so on and so forth, is required for us to address world and as well as local problems. My question to you, I mean, twofold questions. One, a very, technical one. How do you manage in the curriculum to merge those two needs? First, if you want the form making on one side, and all other technical, technological, philosophical even dimensions that prepare the designers to address today's problems. And my second related question, given that this is an emerging field, how is it that you are able to find the necessary expertise to teach the students?
Thank you, Jamal. Jamal was my teacher many years ago, and we were at MIT together later. So great to see you again, and great question. It's not our intention to put design at the center. Let me clarify that. We want design to be a participant, because we're usually marginalized. And this marginalization is dangerous. And then if we claim the center, it's a different form of marginalization, I think. So design should be participatory at an equal level with business and technology. And designers should get the salaries of business people as well, I think, and engineers as well, which is also, there's an issue there. Now, when it comes to how do we teach it, we're still studio-based. So the core of the education is studio. And the second important course is the workshop, where they actually are doing design problems by using the tools that we have. I'll give you an example of this semester, what they're doing, so it's actually tangible. In the studio, the students are imagining the world in the near future, identifying technology that they want to use to solve the problems of the world they created. So it's actually fictional world that they're creating, and then they have to use a current technology, so they go deep into it and apply it to find solutions in it. And just what they're doing, most of them are dystopian, which is very interesting. They imagine Trump, post-nuclear age Trump, and so it's funny, but then they're finding solutions. Some are dystopian, some are actually real. Like someone invented little bots that fly and actually clean the air because it's polluted. Another one, more dystopian one, imagined the world where creatures are actually picking up remnants of organic material and reforming new creatures. So it's fascinating what they're doing, and they have to draw it, they have to model it, they have to make a prototype. So it's very much a design approach. In the lab, what they're doing, they have to create a robotic pet that addresses a need that they have. So we're going to have a robotic zoo at the end in about 4 weeks. So you're welcome to come and see the zoo that they're generating. So they're learning design, they're learning about structure, about skin, because they learn about sheathing, they learn Arduino, how to do it, and they have to create a game. So they work with Unity 3D and they work in processing. So they're learning different tools. And then we have 2 theoretical courses. One is on strategic design management, in order, how do you take an idea to market? So they have to understand, how do you do a startup, how do you manage a creative team, etc. And with me, they're taking the course I showed, which is actually called Design Futures. So every week we look at a technology, we explore together. I tell them, I don't have the answers, I don't know what the answers are, we're exploring together. They are making presentations, they're doing their own research, we're inviting specialists to come speak to us. This week it was about blockchain. And the key question I ask, I say, do you have enough information to be able to build on it? And the key question is, as designers, what can you do with blockchain? What can you do with AI, augmented reality, all of that? They're also learning in the studio augmented reality, so they have to create an augmented reality model of the world they're in. So it's still design in our school is still at the core, but in industry, it should be a player, not at the center. Yeah, thanks.
Hello. I have a question to Mr. Sahnawi. While the move towards putting a law for integrating technology into schools is a great initiative. However, I believe in a way it's a bit long time. In the meantime, there is a whole generation which is becoming obsolete. in terms of lack of technology. And my question is, don't you think that the government, in a way, should have a certain initiative to play the role, similar role of private accelerators towards merging between expertise and technology expertise in whatever domain, along with technology expertise, to bring to the market new solutions and to become more digitally focused? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. For sure, there are many needs, and trying to answer to all the needs together may lead you to answering none because of the time, energy, availability, and the almost impossible decision-making process of the country. So eventually I chose one low-hanging fruit that is laying the ground for medium to long-term improvement. Whereas what you are describing is more short-term, but it will have a very good impact, which is to update the current workforce to be ready. And I think it's a very good idea. I'm not discounting it. I'm just saying I chose pivoting action, praying that it would actually happen, because we are really in the beginning of the roadmap, and I intend to mobilize the society, all types of people, so that it's a national cause, so that we try to pressure the decision makers. Some of them are immune to pressure, as you know. So we'll do our best, but hopefully it will work, and I think I'm optimistic on this specific item, which doesn't mean that we don't have to try to do this and other types of actions that will be very useful, very useful. There is a company called okay, the name will come back, that actually updates the programmers that learn some unuseful programming languages or are missing one specific skill to be market ready. And they are doing a fantastic job. All the programmers that pass through their training find work the day they are out. 100% scoring on job. SE Factory. Bravo, thank you, Rana. SE Factory. So there is a need, and it's also a low-hanging fruit. But today it's more. This is a startup. It's not a government initiative. It's a startup initiative, and we should do more of this. I totally agree.
Just an idea, ABBA is doing this year a hologram tour. So basically, if you have a good ideas, you could do like a hologram, and all school can listen to the same speech, and you don't have to have like 1,000 teachers going all around the country. You can have one good teacher teaching everybody the same. No, ABBA is doing ABBA. بيعملوا hologram, يعني everybody sees the same concert all over the world. Okay, so it's a hologram. It's a virtual person talking to everybody.
Okay, thank you again, dear speakers, and thank you for your attendance. And now we will get 15 minutes coffee break. Thank you.